Okay, welcome everyone. We'll get right to it. We're on the bottom of Nun Tes Amid Beis, bottom of Daf Nun Tes Amid Beis, by Amar Reb Yitzchak Bar Yosef Amar Reb Yochanan, which is 6 lines from the bottom. So says the Gemara, Amar Reb Yitzchak Bar Yosef Amar Reb Yochanan. Reb Yitzchak Bar Yosef says the name Reb Yochanan. Nosan mashu shemen al gabe kizayis mincha pasel. If you a minchas chayte or a minchas saita that's not supposed to have any oil, it's not supposed to have any levina. If you put even a drop of oil on at least a kizayis of the mincha, it's pasel. So why do you need even a drop of oil, but a kizayis of the mincha? My time. Lo yosim, you shouldn't put lo yosim oleh shemen. Sima koldu. Lo yosim means not to put even the smallest amount. Oleh, upon her, upon the mincha, oleh implies adi kashiura, that you need to share at least a minimum share of a kizayis. Vam Rabbi Yitzchak Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Nosan kizayis levina al gabe mashahu mincha. The reverse. If you put a kizayis of levina on a little bit of the mincha pas, my timer, lo yitain ksiv. Yitain means a share nasina, adik nasina. So you have to put a share of a kizayis. When it says aleha on it, so it says lo yitain, and then it says aleha have a riboy achar riboy. It's a riboy after a riboy, because it already said aleha by shemen. So why does it say aleha by levina? It's a riboy achar riboy, and ain't riboy achar riboy ela lamayit. So therefore, it's enough if you put a kizayis of levona on even the smallest amount of a mincha. The Ikadam, right? There's another version. Reb Yitzchak Bar Yosef, boy Reb Yochanan nosan mashu shemen al gabe kizayis mincha ma'u. If you put the littlest amount of oil on a kizayis of mincha, is that enough? And now we said lo yosim is a sima koldu, but maybe iba in a sima kinesina, since in the same pasuk it says lo yosim oleh v'lo yitain. Maybe you need sima kinesina, that you need a kizayis, or maybe not. Take it. Tishbi ataretz, kushis v'yibayis. Now, the Gemara discusses that you're not allowed to put both shemen and levina on the minchas chatas and the minchas saita. That's in shemen al shireh tan rabbanan. Lo yasim oleh shemen v'lo yitain. Now, since it says lo yasim oleh shemen and v'lo yitain, I might think that the iser is 2 kahanim. That if one kohen puts on oil and the other kohen puts on levina, they get each a malchus. But if one person does both, he only gets 1 malchus. Yachol b'shnei kahanim. Talmud Leimer Oleha. It says by each one lo yasim Oleha shemen v'lo yitain Oleha levina. It's not talking about the person. It's talking about the mincha. Talmud Leimer Oleha begufa shel mincha akasim edaber. So even if one person like Marshall would do it, if he would get lo kain, it's not referring to different kahanim. Even if one person would put on shemen and levina, he would get 2 malchuses. Lo yachal lo yitain kli al gabe kli. I might think you can't even put a keli of shemen or a keli of levina on top. V'imnas and pasel. And if you do, even if the oil is in a keli or the levina is in a keli, it's pasel. Talmud Leima aleha, upon it. The gufa shel mincha akasim edaber. You have to put it on the actual mincha, not where it's interposed with the keli. Now the next Mishnah talks about 2 mitzvahs. The mitzvah of Hagasha, where you bring the mincha to the southwest corner of the Mizbeach and touch it, and Tnufa, waving. Now, not all menachos have Hagasha, and not all menachos are waved. And this Mishnah says there's actually 4 categories. Yesh te'unais Hagasha ve'ein te'unais Tnufa. There are some menachos that are brought to the southwest corner but are not waved. There are those that need both, Hagasha u'Tnufa, waving and bringing it there. Tnufa v'loy Hagasha, there are some that are waved but not brought to the southwest corner. And then there are those that loy Tnufa v'loy Hagasha. They're not waved and they're not brought to the southwest corner. The elu te'unais Hagasha, the ein te'unais Tnufa. The following you need to bring to the southwest corner, but they're not waved. 10 cases. Mincha Silas, the mincha of fine flour, amachbas, the mincha of the griddle, marcheshes, the deep fried mincha, the mincha mafetana that consists either of achalas, of loaves, or v'rekikin, or wafers. Minchas kahanim, mincha of a kohen which is totally burnt on the mizbeach, or minchas kohen mashiach, the chavite kohen gadol, which is brought half in the morning and half in the afternoon. Minchas nachrim, the mincha of a goy, minchas nashim, or minchas chayte, and the mincha of the sinner. All of these are brought to the corner of the mizbeach, but they're not waved. Reb Shimon disagrees. He says minchas kahanim and minchas kohen mashiach, the minchas kohen, which is totally burnt, and the minchas kohen mashiach, both of them don't have kmitza. Ein bahem hagasha. They don't have the mitzvah hagasha. Lefisha ein bahem kmitza, because they don't have the mitzvah of kmitza. Because ein bahem kmitza, ein bahem hagasha. Now the first, again, once again, is 10 cases. Rapapa kol echad d'tanan, whenever, like the previous Mishnah lists a bunch of menachos, eser tanan, it's 10. What's it coming to exclude? My kamash balon. Lafukim Reb Shimon da'amar mechzer chalas mechzer rekikin yavi, that there is an option by minchas mafetana to also bring half loaves and half wafers. Then there would be 11th one. Kamash balon daloi. It's not like the opinion of Reb Shimon. So now the Gemara says, Minani mili. How do we know the mitzvahs of Hagasha, of bringing it close to the Mizbeach? The Tana Rabbanan, it says in the pasuk, "Ve'heveisa asher yaseh me'ela, ve'heveisa asher ye'oseh me'ela l'Hashem." You should bring that which you prepared from these to Hashem, v'kriva el hakayin, and you bring it to the kayin, v'higisha, and he brings it near to the mizbeach. Now, it says, actually in the pasuk, ve'veisa es hamincha, and it could have just said, ve'veisa asher ye'aseh me'el Hashem, v'kriva el hakayin v'higisha. So, if it didn't say the words es hamincha, I would think hayisi aimer ein li shetan hagasha el kaimitz bavad. The only thing that you need to bring to the southwest corner is the kmitza that's going to go on the mizbeach. Mincha minayin. How do we know that you have to bring the whole mincha before you remove the kmitza to the southwest corner? Talmud Leimer, because it adds the word ve'evesa es hamincha. Says the Gemara, minchas chayte minayin. How do we know that even the mincha of the sinner has to be brought to the southwest corner? Talmud Leimer es hamincha. Some say we learn it out from the word es. Some say that we learn it out from the hey. Now the question is, why do we need a special riboy for minchas chayte that needs hagasha? Vidinhu, it should be logical. Nemar hacha minchas chayva. It says over here, the mincha that's obligatory, the mincha of the sinner. V'nemar, and it says, hacha have minchas nadava. You should bring a minchas nadava. So it should be just a regular mamatzino. Ma minchas nadava, just like a free will offering, like the minchas silas, the minchas makbas, the minchas marcheshes, tuna agasha. Af minchas chayva tuna agasha. So the Gemara says no. Mala minchas nadava shekain tuna shemen ulevaina. It needs shemen and ulevaina. That's why it needs agasha. Minchas, the minchas chayte, which doesn't need shemen ulevaina, maybe it doesn't need agasha. But the Gemara says minchas saita teichiach. Because the minchas saita doesn't have shemen ulevaina, but it still has hagasha. Says the Gemara, yeah, but maybe the reason why the minchas saita has hagasha is because it has waving. Mala minchas saita shekain tuna tnufa. But the minchas saita, which doesn't need tnufa, and it doesn't have shemen ulevaina, maybe it doesn't need hagasha. Minchas nadava teichiach can't be the tenufa aspect, because the minchas nadava doesn't have tenufa, and it still needs hagasha. V'chazar adina, and we go in a circle. The feature of one is not like the feature of the other. The feature of the other is not like the feature of the one. In other words, minchas chayte doesn't have shemen levaina, but excuse me, minchas chayte doesn't have shemen levaina, but the saita doesn't have shemen levaina and still needs hagasha. But saita has tenufa, but the minchas nadava doesn't have tenufa. So therefore, each one doesn't have the feature of the other. Hatzara shava shebem, the common denominator is sheshavel l'kmitza, that for all these things have a kmitza, v'shavel hagasha. So we should say that they should have to bring to the southwest corner. Why do we need es hamincha? Afani avi minchas chayte sheshavel lehem l'kmitza, and therefore, since it needs a kmitza to shavel lehem l'hagasha, it should need hagasha. Says Gemara, no. Because malat tzara shava shebehen, the tzara shava of minchas nedava and minchas saita, shekain hochshiru lavai ba'ashir kiba'ani. Both the minchas nedava and the minchas saita can be brought by rich and by poor. Time of the minchas chayte that it only is brought by a poor person. Dalei dalim. Shaloi hochshiru lavai ba'ashir kiba'ani, and therefore maybe it doesn't need hagasha. Talmud loimer es hamincha, to tell me that it needs hagasha. What do you want to ask, Barry?
Where we were holding, I got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, we want to welcome in Eddie. We hope he's going to get out Motzei Shabbos. Dr. Guy, Yisrael Fisher, Mo Kushner, Jack Warman, Marshall Castle, who we're very happy is okay after a very scary day. Ruvain Pollack, Shalom Fogel, A.B. Spry, Irving Fishbaum, Nachman Chapler, Michael, Saba, Yitz Fuchs, Ben-Cian Cohn, Shelley Zeitlin, Menachem Umansky, Barry Cement, Dr. Black, Gabriel Epstein, Michael Avram, Gedalia Engel, Rabbi Krantz, Shimon Klein, Avram Zepkowitz, Danny Vogel, Yehuda Solomon, Abe Arbach, Yitzi Muller, Moshe Lehman, David Helfgott. Here in Shul, we have Rabbi Elia, Ruvain Shanit, Chaim Kramer, and Berish Gesseman. A small crowd tonight. It must be because it's snowing and it's very hard for people to get out of the house. It must be. I hope that nobody has to dig themselves out of the house.
Where's the snow? I'm coming.
Now, Rabbi Shimon Omer, Rabbi Shimon says, V'hevesa, the words V'hevesa is l'rabbis minchas ha'omer lahagasha. It's coming to tell me that minchas ha'omer, the national mincha that's brought on the 16th of Nisan, needs to be brought to the southwest corner, because it says V'hevesa over here, V'cheinu Omer, and it says by the minchas Omer V'hevesa es Omer reishis ketzirchem alakayin. And when it says a lashon of v'hikriva l'rabbis minchas soita lahagasha, because v'cheinu Omer, it says v'hikriva over here by the mincha, v'cheinu Omer v'hikriva yisrael mizbeach. We bring the soita to the mizbeach. Now, it says the Gemara, why do I need a pasuk to teach me that a minchas soita needs hagasha? Why can't I learn it out from a logical argument? V'dinu. Uma minchas chayte she'ena tuna tenufa. Ma'adach minchas chayte that doesn't need to be waived. Tuna hagasha, minchas soita she'tuna tenufa that needs to be waived. Einoi din she'tuna hagasha. I don't need a pasuk for that. So the Gemara says, well, not really, because, the mincha of a saita is brought, she did like a mice of an animal, and therefore we bring the food of animal. It's made out of sa'irim. So ma'ala minchas chayte, she came ba'achitin. So maybe that's why it needs hagasha. Well, minchas omer teichiach, that it's not from chitin, that it's not from barley. Excuse me, minchas omer teichiach, which the mincha of omer is also brought from barley. Right, the mincha of the omer is also bought from barley, and it does need hagasha. No, the other way around. Right, minchas omer is bought from barley, and it still needs hagasha. But the Gemara says, "Mal minchas omer shekain tuna shemen levayna," but the minchas omer needs shemen levayna, so maybe that's why it needs hagasha. While the minchas saita doesn't have shemen levayna, minchas chayte teichiach, that it needs hagasha even though it doesn't have shemen levayna. The chazer adin again, loy roi zekroi zeh, v'loy roi zekroi zeh. Each one has a different feature that the other one doesn't have. The minchas chayte is chitin, but minchas omer is from barley. But the minchas omer needs shemen levayna, but the minchas chayte doesn't. Atzara shava shebehen, the common denominator is sheshavu l'kmitza. They're equal, that they have a kmitza, v'shavu l'hagasha, and they need to be brought to the southwest corner. So afani yavi minchas saita sheshav salem l'kmitza tishvalem l'hagasha. So why do I need the learning from Vikriva? Says the Gemara, no. Ma'ala atzara shava shebehen shekain hukshiru lavoi kemach. Neither of them are allowed to be brought from coarse flour.
Doesn't it say shalaita?
Ma'ala tzara shava shebehen shekain lo hukshiru lavoi kemach. They're not able to be brought from regular flour. You see, again, because the site that did a mice behema, her carbon is brought from regular flour. Both the minchas chayte and the mincha of the omer, on the other hand, is bought from fine flour. Time of minchas saita shaloi hokshira. Time of minchas saita shehokshira lavei kemach. It can be bought from plain flour. So maybe, therefore, it doesn't need hagasha. Ta'amalaima, that's why we need the fact that it says vikriva, and by her it says vikriva yisrael mizbeach, so that we learn that it has to be hagasha. What do you want, Barry?
No, I just thought the Rav said missed the letter, the word loy. Never mind, I'm okay.
Now,
Thank you.
Rabbi Yehuda says, no, we learn out something else from Vehevesa. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer Vehevesa, that comes to Rabbi Mincha Saita Lahagasha. V'cheinu Aimer It says by the Saita Vehevi es Karbana Aleha. The husband brings her carbon for her. But I don't need to learn out the Minchas Omer. I don't need to learn out Minchas Omer for Hagasha. Aval Minchas Omer like Tzricha Kra. My timer. Medina Kasi. Minchas Omer I know from logic. Ma Minchas Chayte Sheina Tuna Tunufa. Madach the Minchas Chayte that doesn't need to be waved. Tuna Hagasha needs to be brought to the southwest corner. Minchas Omer Shetuna Tunufa Eino Din Shetuna Hagasha. Says the Gemara, well, but maybe the Minchas Chayte needs it because it's brought wheat, which is superior to barley. Well, Minchas Chayte Techiach, that even though it's brought from barley, like the Minchas Omer, it needs to be brought to the southwest corner. It comes to clarify sin. The maskeres oven. Says the Gemara, well, Minchas Chayte Techiach, that needs Hagasha even though he doesn't come to clarify sin. It comes to be mechaper for sin, but not to clarify for sin. V'chazar adin, we go back and forth. We're going to learn out the Minchas Omer from the Minchas Saita and the Minchas Chayte. V'chazar adin, lo roi zekaroi zeh v'lo roi zekaroi zeh. I mean, the Minchas Chayte is wheat, but the Minchas Saita is barley. The Minchas Saita comes of our oven, but the Minchas Chayte doesn't. Hatzada Shavu Shebem, the common denominator is Shekain Shavu L'Kmitza. They have a Kmitza, but Shavu L'Hagasha. You need to bring it to the southwest corner. Af Ani Yavi Minchas Omer Sheshav Salem L'Kmitza Tishvalem L'Hagasha. It's the same for Hagasha. Or my Perchas, and there's no Percha. Says Reb Shimon Parachachi. Reb Shimon, who needs to learn out the Minchas Omer, he has a Percha. Ba'ala tzad hashava sheben shekain mitzuyin. The Omer is only one time a year. Both the Minchas Chayte and the Minchas Saita could happen many times a year. Rabbi Yehuda Adarabba. Hamatzuya Tvei. The Minchas Omer is more matzi because that happens at least once a year. Hanach zimnin dolei mishkachas l'klal. You won't have a sinner that's a dalei dalan, and you won't have a Saita. Might not be matzi at all. Says the Gemara, we have another option. Reb Shimon learns from Beivesa, the Minchas Omer, and Rabbi Yehuda learns from Beivesa, the Minchas Saita. But maybe this Beivesa comes to tell you something else. Maybe Beivesa comes to tell me Ela sheyachid misnadei v'mevi mincha acheres chutz me'ela shebe'inyan. Maybe it's coming to tell you that an individual could bring a sixth mincha besides the minchas saita, minchas silas, and the minchas makbas, and minchas macheshes, and the mincha of the chalas, and the mincha of rekikin. Maybe it's coming to tell you that he could bring also a mincha from barley. Vidinu, tzibur maybe mincha menachitin. The tzibur brings a mincha from wheat, chayva, or maybe mincha menasa ayrin chayva, and they bring a mincha from barley, obligatory. That's the minchas Omer. Af yachid shemaybe mincha menachitin nedava. Maybe could also bring Yavi Menasa Ayrim Nadav. Talmud Laimar, the pasuk says, Eila. The Eila comes to tell me that only these can be offered. Ein li ela Eila. And therefore, the word Veivesa is not coming to tell me that you could bring barley. And therefore it's extra either for the Minchas Omer according to Reb Shimon or the Minchas Saita according to Reb Yehuda. Oh, Einoi Omer Eila, to tell me El Omer Harei Alai Mincha, that if Dr. Udell says I accept upon myself a mincha, Maybe he has to bring all 5. Oh, he brings chamishtan, all 5. Minchas Silas, Minchas Machmas, Minchas Mashcheshes, Minchas Chalas, and Minchas Rikikin. Talmud Leimer Me'eleh. It says from these. You don't bring all of them. Ratza Achas maybe. If you want to bring one, you can bring it. Ratza Chamishtan maybe. Okay, we're going to stop over here now, Rabbi Yisai. As we have shir on Motzi Shabbos is, 9:15, Gedalia? Yeah. 9:15. Shir Motzi Shabbos at 9:15. Remember, that's on the new clock. And we're going to do now, we did the Mishnah Yomis, we're going to do now the segment called For the Shabbos Table.